Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our call. Glad you could all join us as we're going to be discussing our latest acquisition that we just closed on a few weeks ago. Probably seen the emails and heard me talking about it, but I thought I'd at least just kind of go through what I believe is, I know it is. It's going to be our last webinar of the year. Kind of wanted to end on a good note and share with you this latest deal that we've done, kind of an insider's look at what we're doing as far as private money deals out there in the marketplace. So glad you could all join us, and proud of you guys, each and every one of you that is really taken action this year. We've had an awful lot of folks that have gone out and gotten themselves into the business, launched their careers, bought multiple facilities. We've had, judging by an education standpoint from our education company, the best year we've ever had, and we measure that by the amount of deals that have been closed this year. And the tally isn't done yet. I mean, we have a few more that many of our students are trying to, make sure that they get closed by year's end. So congratulations to all of you that were out there doing that. So this evening, we're going to go through our latest deal. We'll do some other case studies time to time of the other students that have been doing deals out there in the marketplace. Close on those. This is one that we have the most intimate knowledge and have all the details on. Obviously, it's pretty fresh during the whole period of transitioning over. This is where I'm moving my new office down to as well. And so I'm going to be in this business day to day, and also providing more case studies as we go along and move through this deal as well. So approaching the holidays, hope everybody is ready. I know, maybe you'll have to check in with my wife to see if our household is. I think we're ready as far as I can tell. Aside from a little bit of a flu virus running through our household, all is well, and ready for some downtime in R&R after a very active and very, very busy year. Also tonight, at the end of our call, this is going to be about an hour call, maybe a little bit longer. We'll stick around for questions as well. And we are, as I believe you've seen on the emails, we are raising our prices in 2013 for both the home study system, the physical version, as well as our academies. And the physical version, just because our cost of doing business has gone up substantially, and on the academy side, a little bit as far as back-end support, but more importantly, venues. We're changing our venues and the event itself, and it is becoming quite a larger event and quite a more expensive event that we're putting on, a very elaborate event, and I got some special guests and lengthening the event, and so the academy is going to be new and improved, and it is going to have a new price tag to go along with that as well. But I think you're going to like what you see in the new product. Okay, so with that, we're going to launch, and looks like we've got the number of people that registered are on the line now, so we're going to move forward. Now, folks, you have to excuse me. We do have a little bit of illness running around the house here, so I may mute myself a couple times here. So don't think that I've gone anywhere. If you hear a little bit of sound, I'll just mute so I won't cough in your ear. Little reminder here: self-storage, folks. In case you wondered, and I think you all already know this, has returned. Has the highest return. It continues to just outpace everything else. We haven't got the figures in for 2012, but they're looking pretty darn good. Once again, top performing market sector of all U.S. real estate investments in 2011. 35.4% return versus apartments. The next best, if you want to call it that, investment in real estate, although not the best, only returning 8.8%. Yeah, 4 times more profit than apartments. As you can see, it considerably outpaces healthcare, retail, office, industrial, lodging, resorts. In case you're wondering where single-family rentals figure into that, only at about 5.3%. And yes, if you're in the commercial end and you're looking at office space, industrial, lodging, and resorts, it hasn't done too well in the past. So, unless you've been under a rock, you haven't seen the news and the reports from Bloomberg, calling self-storage once again the best U.S. real estate. The Economist stating that self-storage as an industry is up 140% since August of 2007. Yeah, it is outpacing everything else out there. All right. So, great, Scott. I want to get into the game, but where is the money? How do we go out and do these deals? If I've never done a deal before, or if my credit's pretty shaky, how do I find it? Well, the money's on the sidelines, folks. IRA funds, the funds accounts for the greatest amount of retirement accounts in the U.S. There's approximately $134 billion out there in these IRA funds in what's called a money with zero maturity. In other words, it's the cash, it is the non-invested cash that is sitting in these accounts that these people have not deployed deployed within their IRA and chosen an investment of $134 billion. So, what is the benefit to us? Well, they're candidates for self-directed IRAs investing with you. Also, real estate 401ks investing with you as well. All right, so we're going to be talking a little bit about private money deals. So, I'm going to put the disclaimer up that I am not an attorney. I am not an accountant. Seek counsel when putting together these private money deals or using any type of private money on your deals, no matter what percentage of that is. This is just a mere overview of a particular deal. It's for educational purposes only. This is not a solicitation for you to invest with us. Certainly not in this deal because it's closed now. And we will have emails on future deals. As a matter of fact, we got another one that landed on our desk yesterday that we will probably be opening up to you folks to participate in as well. So keep an eye out for that. All right, so why do we want to do this using private money? And that's going to be our focus tonight. Well, there's fees, and then there's more fees on this end. You do actually profit more if you're using private money and not have a large amount of your money in the deal. You get paid a fee for due diligence, acquisition, the construction if you're going to construct additional units. It allows you to have less skin in the game on a deal. And or if you're going to use bank financing as well, it allows you to leverage. More money equals more property. If you have more cash for down payments, and you're combining that with long-term financing, then you're able to do more property. So you can also take advantage of the properties that banks won't finance. In other words, if there's something out there that's a 0% cap rate or low cap rate, however, it's a distressed property that has a tremendous amount of upside to it, then banks aren't going to touch these deals. If it's at a low cap rate, 0% cap rate, not cash flowing, certainly they're not going to. It's not going to have a debt service coverage ratio that's going to meet their internal requirements. Period. It's going to get turned down. But if we can find another way to buy these things and take them down with cash using private money, guess what? We get a chance of moving forward with these things, making a lot of money. And another reason why we may want to do this, well, you're broke and your credit sucks, and that's fine. You know what? Hey, you're in good company. There are literally hundreds of millions of people out there around the world right now who are in that situation. So no worries. No worries. It doesn't mean that you can't do this business. And besides the fact that if you are doing deals with the private money and you're putting it together with all private money, well, guess what? The syndicators who actually put these deals together are the ones who profit the most. So how do I go about doing this? Well, step one, I feel there's many steps that could be step one. I think that you need to put together a credibility kit, is what the industry has been referring to over the years. The kit's kind of going away, and a credibility kit simply meant it was a large 3-ring binder, a big folder. They had your hero file in it. It told everything about you, your company, your past successes, your history in real estate, the deal that you're looking at right now, market, the upside projection. You know, the sample loan request is what it is, along with your resume and your hero file. Well, that has been replaced by a credibility site now. Essentially, it's your own website that has all your information on it that tells about you and why they should be and want to be investing with you. So this is credibility kit or your site. And, this is your plan for your business. So it needs to be from you. So when you're putting together your credibility site, this isn't something that you're going to go out to Elam or out find some virtual assistant, somebody to put together. This needs to be from you. Don't copy it from somebody else. You need to create this on your own. Value add, turnaround properties, that's what we're looking for. So when we begin to put this together, put a business plan together, I'm looking at the value add properties. I think you really need to, if you're going to cash out your investors, your private lenders, at some point, you got to have some value add components. Buying these deals that are just kind of humming along, they're at the top of the market, they're 95% occupied or higher, and you can't add value by increasing rent or adding additional buildings or profit centers. Those aren't the types of deals that your investors are going to want to invest in, that you're going to be able to afford to give them the returns that they need by cashing them out. Also, every step of the way, you're going to want to use third-party partners to ensure compliance. In other words, that this isn't just all you and that you're putting this together all on your own, but also to mitigate any perceived risk on the investor's part, but then also any real risk. So this means attorneys, having surveys done, phase 1 environmental inspection report, you name it. We need to have these folks in place. And also, I feel property management agreement and property management company running these. This becomes the plan is the framework for your private placement memorandum. Once you put it together in a professional format by an attorney or reviewed by an attorney, then that is what becomes your premium, your personal, your private placement memorandum. So here's an example of one of our sites for raising private money. It's a credibility site. It is a newer one that we put up just for this deal, essentially. And it needs some work. It's pretty plain Jane. As you look at some of those out there, it's supposed to be, because we want it to be a simple business model. I feel it needs a little bit more, maybe some tweaking to it. But this is what, from the studies that we've seen, this is what my webmasters came up with. So it doesn't mean that you have to do that as well. Step number 2, I know that there were a lot of steps in step number 1, but that's the basic foundation that you need to begin working on right away to begin putting this package/business together. Step number 2 is, if you have a number of people that are interested in, perhaps they're located in different parts of the country, different areas, then you can hold a webinar and show them the deal, tell them about the deal, do exactly what we're doing right now. And that's essentially what we've done here, and essentially what we are doing is explaining this deal to them. So these are the actual slides. I modified them a little bit from our webinar to our investors and the people that were interested in investing in this deal. So I gave a little bit of a history on the project. I bought it originally in 2005 for $1.5 million. Bought it for no money down at that point. We invested $400,000 and converted it to storage. We added parking areas, offices, refrigeration to the warehouses, and created refrigerated storage. We sold it for $3.9 million in 2007 with a 10% seller carryback. Marketed it in 2009 for $5 million. The buyer who bought it from me then marketed it in 2009 for $5,250,000, and I put that offering up on the website for this property for investors to be able to take a look at. Well, buyer filed bankruptcy in 2009 and defaulted. I lost my $390,000. I sold it with a 10% seller carryback, unfortunately. Then he called me a couple years later. And then in a business, you can certainly get mad about that, but we understand, hey, here's what happened in this market. It didn't matter how good of a businessman this guy could have been. I think the way he had structured it from the beginning, he wasn't going to be able to survive anyways. And so, plus a few bad moves on his own business, and that's what happened in the commercial markets. He was a developer out of California, and that's why he had filed bankruptcy, just stalled. He was developing in California and Hawaii, and so all of his holdings had to go in the bankruptcy. He certainly could have saved this one, but his other business broke this one down. So he approached me in September of 2011 to buy this property back for $1.1 million. He said that the bank would accept a $1.1 million short sale on this thing. Somehow he kept this out of his bankruptcy. He was able to market the property. Not exactly sure how, but he offered it to me for $1.1 million. But at the time, he saw the NOI, and it was only about between $36,000 to $38,000, which means that just for easy math, at a 10 cap thing was only worth about maybe $400,000, $380,000, $360,000, $400,000. And granted, it was worth more than that. Maybe 55. But at that point, I realized that I couldn't finance this thing, and I didn't have the cash around at $1.1 million. Plus, it was a little higher. Stick with cash flow for a while. Intriguing though, given the fact that I bought it for 1.5. I put 400 into it, and when we sold it, it was all leased up. It was worth $3.9 million when we sold it. We sold it 11 cap at 3.9 million. So, a little bit of time went by, and in July, he called me up again and said, "Hey, guess what? We've had this thing under contract several times, and potential buyers weren't able to secure financing, and the bank is willing to sell this thing for $600,000. It's kind of a last ditch of, this is what it'll take to get this deal done. If you want it." So now at this point, the NOI had improved a little bit. It was at about 39 net now, call it 40. So 10 cap was worth about $400,000. Still, sorry about that. Just didn't want to cough on you. So still not cash flowing. Bank's not going to finance this thing. But at this point, I couldn't overlook the fact that this thing was going to be selling not only did the guy stiff me for $390, but I had to pay his back taxes and his bankruptcy trustee and his unpaid and accrued attorney fees, plus the mechanic's lien. Now, I put an asterisk here because we were able to wipe those away, but heading into this, that's what we were looking at. So, how many of you would walk away right now and just say, no way, wait a minute, this guy stiffed me for this, and now I'm going to pay for all this for him to wind this thing down? Well, I guess a lesson in business, if you haven't realized this already, we don't burn a bridge, we don't hold a grudge, because even the folks that have stiffed you, as they say, business is business, and your personal life is your personal life, and I'm realizing that, even though it's tough at times, I'm realizing that more and more. And this guy was the son of a gun, a snake in the grass, and because he didn't pay me, but you know what? We were able to have a civil conversation about this because at the end of it was an opportunity for me to make a boatload of money back on this deal again. In other words, perhaps recoup that $390,000 and then some. And now remember, anytime, I guess I should have stated this earlier, anytime you do a seller carryback, you probably need to go into this with the assumption that you're not going to get paid it back. It's almost a bonus if you do. If that's what's going to take to get the deal done and you're happy with the money that you're getting at the closing table, maybe a few payments after that, then good for you. But it's kind of like the saying goes, if you're going to loan money to a friend or family member, it's not really a loan. You just better expect them not to pay it back, and then it's just a gift. And that's kind of the way I treat seller carrybacks. If I get anything back, it's a bonus. But you got to expect that if you're going to do that, you just needed to do that to get the deal done, and that you probably won't see that money again. Mechanics liens, we did get those wiped away. I worked at a couple of them, and they had expired, and another one I had Brad Stiller pay for, and then we took care of another one on our own. Essentially, we didn't pay for it, but just kind of finagled away for one of the tenants paid for this air conditioning unit that they were getting the benefit of that was placed, that they had a lien placed on the building as a result of the installation that was never paid for by the previous owner. Miscellaneous closing fees. We thought it was going to be $5,000. It actually ended up being $7,500. Buyer's attorney fees were a little higher than we expected. Our private investors actually asked a lot of questions, and we made many revisions to the operating agreement and the subscription agreement before we closed this thing. So $10,000 was our estimate. Boy, was I on the low end on that. And I assumed it was going to be around there, that it was going to be kind of a clean deal, but it was not. It ended up being $25,000. Acquisition fees and due diligence fees, that is what my company made. That was what I received at the closing table, was $15,000. The approximate acquisition cost, and this is what I was laying out to our investors, is about $710,000 to get all of this done. That's including those mechanics liens, the closing fees, and the $10,000 buyer's attorney fees. And then HVAC, carpet, deferred maintenance, roof repairs is going to be about $45,000 to get all of that done. So our capital raise was $750,000. Now today, we still don't have we don't have it fully funded. It is at $715 right now. We're $35,000 shy of getting it fully funded at this point. So many investors out there that are interested in this deal, and there still is room on this one. So the deferred maintenance that we've stated is the fact that we need to seal and stripe the front lot. Well, we went ahead and striped it anyways, visiting handicap signs, just to make it look like somebody actually owned the building again. Removed 6 pine trees out front and the shrubs for $1,300. We had to. The parking lot was atrocious. Not only the trash, but also, it was an absolute disaster with. Just weeds, dirt, bushes, everything, all collected around the curbs, and so we had to have people go through with shovels and get rid of all the extra, the extra stuff. It was just a mess. We have to put a brand new HVAC unit in what's called the auditorium. That cost $4,000 to do that. And there's 2 leaks in the roof in the warehouse. We'll have to take care of drywall on the leak in the auditorium, paint carpet in the auditorium. Gas leak at pipe. We're working on that right now, and then remodeling the bathrooms, and we are doing that as we speak. 6 bathrooms, 2 of them needed a major remodel. Those are the ones that we're working on right now. And the other 2 are just going to, the other 4 are just going to be minor at this point. So, what's the opportunity to create value? Well, in this deal, we're going to peel the property taxes right away. We got the appraisal ordered already to say, hey, look, we didn't do it on the buying end. There was no need to. The bank didn't require it. That would just only be for our purposes. I didn't even plan on it once I got into appeal process, and then realized a couple of questions pertain to having a professional appraisal done on this. So I called up the gentleman who did this appraisal on the property originally back in 2005, 7 years ago, when I bought it the first time around, and told him, I said, hey, I bought this deal back. Here's what I paid for it. I'm getting ready to appeal the property taxes. I'd like to have an appraisal done. And the problem is the thing looks really bad right now, and the numbers are really bad. He goes, yeah, I get it. I know what you're looking for. And he said, as a matter of fact, I've got everything on file, and so I'll charge you about a few $100 less than what I charged you the first time around. So not only am I getting the 2005 rate, but I'm getting a few $100 off and get the appraisal that I need to save the money on my taxes. So I'm sure you've all heard me say this before in the home study at the Academy and just any other time. Go back to these folks that you've had the relationship. Go back to the folks that have already done the appraisals, the Phase 1 environmental inspections, the surveys. Go back to those companies. They have all these files on a database. They don't have to create a 50-page document and charge you $3,000 for it. Therefore, you shouldn't have to go out and bid and pay that. You go back to these folks and say, I know you got the file. What's it going to cost to update it? And that's what they'll do. They got to make a living, and there's time involved in that, but boy, you save them a lot of time by just coming right back to them and not chop the ground. So our hope is that we will be successful in reducing the value. I don't know what it's going to get down to, because our total purchase price was $750. It really should go down. The cap in Indiana is 3%. So even if they took 3% of the $750, it would go down to $22,500. I'm hopeful that we'll get it down less than that. The insurance expense that we did the underwriting on, previous owner was spending $43,000 to insure this thing. So we reduced that, got that down to $18,000 with our new policy. Utilities, we have warehouses in the back where the tenants, we refrigerated. We had refrigeration equipment, and we signed long-term leases with these folks. And under the fact that we couldn't put sub-meters in, but we put the meters on and read them once a month with one of the employees, and then we have the demand factor and the rates and all the calculations, and we bill them back accordingly. And, well, once the previous owner now sold the property, or actually before he sold the property, when he went bankrupt and just kind of relinquished it, those utilities were being charged back to the clients, to the tenants in that space. And where they were spending $2,500 to $3,000 a month, they were paying somewhere down around $500. They had somebody in the industry come out, look at the load and the demand, and do the calculations, so that we were wrong, and this is what it should be. And the previous owner just accepted that, and he left several $1,000s on the table for doing so. So we're going to be leaving and charging those back. We have a warehouse prospect for approximately $60,000 a year for the big warehouse. It's vacant. We're going to fix the leaks in there, and I'm not so sure what happened. It kind of went by the wayside now, but we're going to try to fill that by creating smaller spaces in the warehouse. There is a 123,000 square foot office space that has been newly remodeled since I sold the building, and about 6,000 square foot of office that is vacant right now, and that's going to be roughly $12,000 a year. We'll see. I think it may be a little bit more than that, but we'll see. I've got about half of that leased out. I think leased out right now to a chiropractor in the building who's expanding, and so looking forward to getting him in there and increasing the value. There's 2 acres of land in the back that's vacant right now, and it's not built into our pro forma, but if we just lease that out as basic storage, I think at the very minimum we can get about $36,000 a year out of that. But I'm looking to do something a little bit differently, hopefully, back there in that space, and try to make more money. And there's also a possibility for, in the couple of these vacant spaces in here, to have a wine storage business in there. That's kind of a long shot. More to come on that one. But I believe what we can do is make this a destination wine storage place. It's an old A&P grocery depot is what the building is. And, we've, it's built like a bunker. And it automatically stays right around 55 degrees anyways. But it's the perfect location, nondescript, very, very safe, very secure. Close to downtown, to the restaurants, but then also to investors that live downtown and elsewhere, that we could provide a great warehouse space. It's already got a lot of this finished out. It would be a good little showroom tasting area for folks that want to have private parties and what have you. So, we're kind of excited about the opportunities to maybe let's just cut down. Let's just cut down. Let's just go right now to the NOI at the bottom of the page. In 2012, I believe that to be right around 69,015. That is going to be prorated to the end of this year. 2013, when the lease up that warehouse, the office space, and began billing the utilities back to the clients that are supposed to pay, I believe that we're going to be up in that $189,000 range. 2014, we should be topping over 204,000 and getting close to stabilization within 2 years. By getting these spaces all back in order the way they should be, getting the expenses under control, and then realizing some of the value in this thing, and then maybe looking at this point to either refinance and or sell the property. So that's the upside on this deal. Okay, so how do we put this together for our clients, and how do we make this attractive to them? Well, the deal is structured in this manner. The managing member percentage, which is me, I'm the promoter or the managing member of this LLC, I get 50% of the deal. The members' percentage is 50% then, obviously. Members are paid monthly from cash flow with a preferred return calculated based on the IRR, internal rate of return. Members also receive 50% of the profit from the sale because they're owners. They have shares in the LLC. It's projected to be roughly $1 million. So, in other words, investor or investors are going to make $500,000, and I should make somewhere around that as well upon the sale of the property once we get the asset stabilized to the place where it's about 85% occupied. Management company is Equitrans Management, which is my company, and the property pay me a 6%, or my company a 6% of management fee, and that is just for the oversight, supervision of the property. All the rest of the direct payroll expenses, comes out of the property itself. And by the way, this is if you're not taking notes, you should. This is a fairly straightforward. This is a very easily sellable, if you want to call it that, deal to your private investors. They get 50% against the raising all the money, and you're getting a management fee as well. Hopefully, you're putting some skin in the game, but even if you're not, look at the returns that they're going to get on this deal. Where else are they going to put their money and get these types of returns? They're going to get the cash flow and the profit on the back end. They can't put that in the market right now or buying gold. So we've got a 5-year hold on this property right now, which means that in 5 years we will be looking at. We definitely need to make a decision in year 5 whether we're going to sell it, refinance it, what we're going to do with it. In the meantime, those owners can sell their shares if they wanted to. They can do whatever they want with their shares, but we will. Revisit annually to assess the market, where the rest comes into. But assess the market because we want to. We're going to leave ourselves open and flexible enough to say, okay, if interest rates start to creep up, then you know what, I think it's time to sell because we're going to lose value in this thing. So definitely 5 years we're going to be taking a look at what to do with the property, but and in the end we're going to begin taking a look at whether we've reset value and if it's time to sell or not. All right, so what makes my offer attractive? What makes an offer attractive to your investors? Well, first of all, appropriate rates of return. What's appropriate? Well, look at what the other deals are like out there. There's plenty of websites where you can look at deals, where people can just go and invest in deals. So make sure that you're in line, if not a little more attractive, if you have the room on this property that you're looking at to offer a decent rate of return that they can't get other places in traditional investment vehicles. There also needs to be appropriate incentives. In other words, there needs to be some type of if you can, some type of a benefit, some type of a kicker on the back end. In our instance, we're essentially, we had a minimum $50,000 investment in this deal but it included a high-end mentoring package along with it, and our high-end mentoring package is going up to $25,000 a year. And essentially, these folks are going to get a 5-year mentoring program along with it, with weekly as well as monthly shareholder webinars. We're going to be teaching about tax appeals, all the different profit centers, how we go out and do comparative market analysis. Every aspect of this deal we're going to be teaching the investors / mostly our students what we're doing along the way, and so they're going to get almost that amount in mentoring and coaching, so that they can go out and do this on their own as well. Now, for you, it's going to be bonuses on the back end, access to it, maybe some free units, depending upon how many units or investors you bring in. Anything that costs you a whole lot, or that you can defer until the sale of the property to really take care of them and give them the incentives that they want. The more that you can defer that, the better. Skin in the game. That's what makes your deal attractive. Is that you have some money in it as well. So in other words, if they can say or see that if you get your money into the deal, then they know that you're serious about it, that you like it, and that you plan on just letting it go by the wayside and/or lose out on the deal, or try to do anything unscrupulous. So if you have no skin in the game, can you still get a deal done? Yeah, it just makes it harder to attract investors if you don't have any skin in the deals, if you don't have anything to lose, and so you can easily walk away. What else is attractive? Well, how about legal compliance? All the investors that you're bringing in the deal structure has to pass SEC muster, if you will. And so they definitely want to see that, and they want to know. The best way to handle that is to show them and/or let them know that your attorney will be or already is engaged on this deal, on the private money raise, and then we'll also be reviewing the closing documents to make sure that you've dotted all your I's and crossed all of your T's. So somehow you need to convey that to them and let them know that this isn't just you pulling the strings all the way to the finish line, to the closing, unless that this is going to be reviewed by an attorney. And then keep it simple, folks. Really, it needs to be understandable. Showing them all kinds of facts and figures, too many facts and figures, getting into too much detail. No, we just need to keep it simple. They got to understand why they want to invest in storage in the first place. So that's what you're going to tell them. They want to know why they should invest in this particular deal. So you will show them the reasons why they should invest in this particular deal, as well as the market, including market statistics, and then also on yourself. Again, your hero file, your credibility site. Why do they want to invest with you? So, and some historical performance of the property as well. In other words, it used to be at 85, 90, 95% 3-4 years ago. What happened since then? The competition is health. What happened? What caused this? But it needs to be understandable. Your self-confidence. If you fumble through the presentation, and I think I probably just lost half of you now, because I think everybody's got a fear about talking about a deal, or that they're going to be embarrassed, or that they're not going to get it funded because they don't know what they're talking about. Practice. Go out. Practice your elevator speech. Practice all the things that you plan to do when you're talking with either a group or an individual investor in this deal. And if you have a great deal of self-confidence in yourself in the deal, then that'll show, and they will have confidence in you in the deal as well. And then also, just to make sure that to give them a little extra edge or a little extra confidence, third-party companies, third-party property inspections, phase 1 survey, the environmental reports, anybody that you can bring in on a professional manner to handle the due diligence and move forward with the valuation of the deal, the better. And/or references as well, references about your company. So what are the next steps after that? Well, after we did our webinar, we began talking to folks, and we referred everybody to our website that had all the forms for the property itself. Then we had them sign a non-disclosure agreement so that they could have access to all of those, as well as the purchase agreements. And then the next step is to obviously write a purchase agreement. We have an accredited investor questionnaire, so we only invest with accredited investors on this deal. That keeps us a little safe and a little more lawsuit-proof, if you will, or less opportunity to enter into a lawsuit if we're using accredited investors. Accredited investors have $1 million net worth, or by themselves they need to make $300,000 in a year's time, or if they're in a household a whole boatload of cash either yourself or jointly to be considered an accredited investor in this deal. Then we set up escrow at the title company so that they can begin receiving the wires from your investors. The private placement memorandum, if it hasn't been done, it's going to begin to get tweaked, but we need to get that out into the hands of the folks that are now going to be investing with us or looking to invest with us as well. So once we're getting closer to getting this deal put together, yes, we need to put together the PPM fairly soon. We also need to get the historical financials and projections for the property as well, showing where it's been, where it is now, and where you believe that you can take it in the next year or two when you get things stabilized, or 3. We're going to take that, and then the subscription agreement itself. Now, my attorney combines them, takes the PPM and the subscription agreement and combines those two together. And the subscription agreement basically talks about what you're going to be subscribing to, the shares that you're going to get, what you're going to get in exchange for that, and talks about the deal. And once again, the projections, the exit strategy, really it acts as the loan request if you were to take this to the bank. The subscription agreement is very, very similar to the loan request. So is the private placement memorandum as well. Okay, then we'll create an entity, the certificate of ownership, draft the operating agreement amongst all partners once they've been identified, your investors, give them wire instructions as to where to send their money to. And then you need to begin going through the due diligence, or you're going to hire this out, which is making sure that, once again, you look for leaks. You look for how the gravel lot, the paving is graded. Is all the water going to run to the back of the property as it should? Did you bring in professional HVAC inspectors? Phase 1, environmental. Do you have all the tax records, Schedule E's from the previous owner? Do you have profit and loss statements going back 3 years? Getting the rest of the story by asking the previous owner, hey, how did this thing go bad? What are the downsides to this? What is the upside? All that information that you can gather as much as possible. You're going to then begin reviewing these. Well, you're going to have these documents either already prepared and or being reviewed by an attorney along with their engagement letter for your investors. And then begin all the addendums, property insurance survey, phase 1 inspection, getting all your ducks in a row. In this case, my investors are required, since it's very hands-on, and it's such a large project. Even though my office is down there, they just want to know that somebody is going to keep it tabs on and an eye on the store, and it takes a lot to run this. And so if something should happen to me, in other words, I get hit by the proverbial bus, then what? Because I am the value in this deal. I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again. But I'm going to drum up all my old connections and do my best to maximize the value in this property all over again, as I've done the last time. But if I should die, it's not really need for my wife to step into, or anybody else for that matter. So we took out a Keyman life insurance policy on myself for an additional $500,000 on top of all the other life insurance that I have out there. And so if something should happen, they're going to pay out $500,000. They'll go find another property manager or property management company and put them in place as well. But this made them all feel confident that if something should happen, then guess what? The problem is, the good news is that I got through. I've got a lot of taken over this over years. And the bad news is I'm now worth more dead than I am alive. I've got life insurance on myself for the various LLCs, just to take care of my family should something happen. Situations like this, and adding it all up, and it knocks me off. So it's going to get a big old fat paycheck. But man, I'm a big target right now. As long as you're the beneficiary, so don't get any bright ideas. All right, so now let's address some of the common questions that investors are going to have for you in these types of deals, like where's your skin in the game? Well, a number of ways of answering that. And don't just say, well, I'm building sweat equity up into this. Don't say, hey, listen, I'm going to contribute approximately 80 to 90, maybe 100 hours into this deal. Here's my standard hourly rate, and I'm going to do it all for free. That's what I bring to the table. You're not going to pay for the due diligence because I'm going to do that. I'm going to review the taxes. And if you want to get involved and do all of those in the beginning, that's great. Then I strongly recommend that. If not, depending upon relationship with these investors is going to determine their trust level and whether they can, whether they're interested to invest or not. At the end of the day, folks, I think it's ludicrous to invest with to not invest with somebody just because they're putting their own money into the deal. Other people's money are tied up in other places. They're not always readily accessible. Question. Okay, you can't talk to somebody in a wedding dress about this. Heck, they may even be a plant. They may not even be the real bride, but either way, definitely want to address that. Okay, so what about capital calls? What about capital calls, Scott? What if it costs more than that, $45,000 to repair something in the future? Well, we developed within the operating agreement. We developed a provision that said, guess what? No capital calls. This deal should stand on its own, and if it doesn't, then what we should probably just raise the price up front and raise the money up front rather than try to do it later on, because we're not going to have a capital call. Not everybody. Many people are scared because they've heard of the time where people got into investments, and then all of a sudden, the owners, the promoters asked for another $100,000 to $500,000, knowing that the other people wouldn't be able to pay it, and then they probably didn't look at their operating agreement, and therefore they're going to forfeit their shares. In the property. So no, we didn't have any of that business. So it specifically said that there's no capital calls unless if we did, those wouldn't be approved unless it was, or we wouldn't even call for one unless it's approved by 100% of the investors. So we sent an email out to let them know that, hey, here's a significant capital expense that we see coming up that we didn't account for. We're going to need more money into the deal. But nope, all our deals need to be self-sufficient. What if something happens to you, die or incapacitated? We talked about that. The insurance kicks in. What if we don't like you or what's happening, Scott? What if we find out that, you know what, you're not really competent and we don't know what you're doing over there? Well, fine. Guess what? Unanimous vote of all investors. You can get me out. If you don't like what I'm doing, then vote me out. Vote me off the island. So what is the exit strategy, Scott? Well, as I mentioned before, we do have a hard stop at 5 years, which means, in other words, you can buy somebody else's shares out if you'd like. If you need the cash, you can sell your shares. You can just get out of the deal. You do have the flexibility within that 5-year plan. If your plans change or your spouse's plans change or something should happen to your spouse, then you have a way to be able to track these investments down, find them, and if you're on hopefully you're on there as a beneficiary on these as well. Okay, so got the deal closed November 28th. Since then, been hot and heavy with the transition, remodeling. Modeling the lobby is next, the common areas of the bathrooms and other places. So it is coming right along. Reducing property taxes, as I mentioned before, and billing back utilities. Those are the biggest quick fixes that we are focusing on right away, as well as, of course, leasing up space, and where we've done a really decent job of that so far, getting the occupancy up. So I'm going to ask you, where are you right now in your investing? Are you still sitting on the sidelines? Are you active? Are you out there in the marketplace? Are you looking? Are you using private money? Well, if you're waiting around for the market, I'll say right now to stop. If you're waiting for financing to be more plentiful, bountiful, abundant, and all over the place, well, it may be a little looser in the upcoming year, but stop waiting and start getting a formal real estate education in self-storage and the means and the ways to be able to raise private money to go out and buy these deals. So a couple of ways to be able to do this. This is the path that I took when I began looking into the industry back in 2005. I went out to Vegas and got my CSSM, my Certified Self-Storage Manager designation from the Self-Storage Association. It cost me $550. Money well spent. Then I came back and went to the Owners and Investors Executive Course through the SSA, Self-Storage Association. It cost me $1,700. Then the Valuation and Acquisition course through the SSA. I paid $1,500 for that one as well. I attended the SSA annual conference for 3 years, and by the way, that down on the lower right, there's a picture of myself and Mike Scanlon, who's the CEO of the National Association for Self-Storage, SSA, is what it's called, National Self-Storage Association, and but they don't put it in there. And that is, Mike came out to Indiana as we were trying to form a statewide association here in the state of Indiana. Did take hold. We're trying it again, and it looks like it may pass and actually go through this time. I certainly hope so. spent 3 years at the Inside Self-Storage Annual Conference as well. I went to all the education tracks in both of these, the SSA and the ISS shows. And then I spent, to fill in the gaps that I was missing, spent a day with a consultant and paid him $5,000 to ride around his car and go to his facilities and go to his office to see how they ran things. So my education cost me about $11,800, and that is before travel costs, excluding travel costs. But the reality for you is that, you know what, you can get off the sidelines. You too can make a killing out there in the marketplace. We're going to show you how to not fail in the business, because 94% of all real estate investors fail within 5 years. We're going to show you how to confidently move off the sidelines and invest in self-storage the right way, which is proper valuations of the facility, deal structure, and how to properly put together a private placement memorandum, ways to bring in the private lenders and subscription agreements, and all the ways to make sure that you keep it safe and make it attractive and make it simple. And then we focus on the operations side, which is, this isn't a set it and forget it business, folks. It's not an ATM machine. We show you exactly how to maximize the NOI each and every day. So what we've done is, we're trying to bypass the models. I've already learned from the big guys. I've got tools and tools of book knowledge, head knowledge, and 8 years of experience under my belt now in this business, storage and business. So we decided that, okay, how do we bring this out to the masses and let them know about this? Well, the solution is easy. Step number one is, yes, we're offering our home study system, which is my business model and checklist. It has 6 CDs and DVDs of my one-day events. My list broker, who has over 64 different websites for finding these facilities with the small business brokers versus the traditional real estate brokers. It includes our brand new and recently relaunched self-storage evaluator software. And just added it to the system. That is selling on its own. It's selling like a gangbusters these days. And I really like it. It works very well. It's an incredible piece of software. It's become the industry standard for evaluating self-storage facilities. I include also all my acquisition forms and the legal docs, making sure that you're safe and legal as you're writing up offers and conducting these deals, these self-storage deals. And then also all the due diligence forms, purchase agreements, any addendum that may go along with this for personal property. All of those are on the acquisition form and legal docs you need. Plus, again, we don't leave you hanging. We have included our self-storage manager's toolkit, which has all 70 forms known to man in the self-storage industry. Not that you're going to need those. We use about 6. But all 70 forms in the industry are included in the self-storage manager's toolkit. Everything you need to be able to learn how to run your self-storage facility very effectively, and that is using the Michael Gerber model. That is what we have created a model this after as well, the self-storage manager's toolkit. All right, so the home study system normally sells for $12.97. The last time that we're going to see this discount for $6.97. Very rare. I don't go out on the road very often. I don't present the home study system for $6.97. I can't remember the last time that I actually did it, and that is that's true. But I don't know when. So prices are going up, and this is going to be approaching the $1,500 mark. And so tonight and tonight only, $6.97 to get the entire home study system. $6.97. Now, step number 2, if you want to take it to the next level, is to attend the Self-Storage Academy. Our next 2 that are already on the calendar are in Indianapolis. Both of them are in Indianapolis, March 14th through the 16th, and then in September, we don't have the dates for that, and then we will be having more than likely a travel academy to some city throughout the country. We don't have that picked out just yet, so keep an eye out for that. But here's what we do at the academy. Day 1, you get a chance to meet my team. We do not have, what's trigger happy on there? Let me back up to day 1. And what we're going to cover. You get a chance to meet my entire team, my brokers, my lenders, the folks that actually make things happen. We're not going to parade, this is not a pitch fest. We're not going to parade a whole bunch of selling speakers in front of you. As a matter of fact, we have no selling speakers at our events. We're going to show you how to do no money down SBA loans. We're going to show you how to do no money down development using these SBA loans that are only available for self-storage. We're going to do multiple underwriting exercises so that you can see exactly how to underwrite these deals. And then then on Thursday night, after day one, at the end of day one, we have a VIP cocktail, networking, and reception on me. Day two, go over the evaluator and how to analyze the deal using evaluator software. We'll talk about market analysis. The property looks good, the numbers look good, but what about the market? And so many people fail this in looking at a deal to see the market will actually support their deal. Then we're going to spend some time on the private money piece, how to find using self-directed IRAs, 401ks, for your investors interested in investing with you. And then we get to do some role plays. I know many of you folks out there are scared to call the seller or brokers that are representing these deals. Well, guess what? On my team are two brokers, and they're going to be at the academy. They come to every academy. We have sometimes more. And you can do role plays with them so that you get comfortable picking up that 800-pound phone and calling them about the deals that you're interested in. Then at the end of day two, we do a site tour and a wine tasting. So we hop on a bus, head out to a facility, one of our associates, friendly competitors, successful students that have purchased one for a little wine, let you walk around and see and touch and feel real, true self-storage facility. So you can, what we're basically doing is we're cementing what we've learned the first 2 days in the classroom by going out on site and seeing exactly how these items work in the process. We'll talk about construction, talk about general contractor, what it takes to build additional buildings. And then on day three, back in the classroom again, more live case studies. We'll do ownership transition, what you need to do to get it successfully transitioned over. It includes, we go over the software to manage a self-storage facility, the property management software, using kiosks, how and when, touch on some of the 40-plus different profit centers for increasing the value and forcing the appreciation on these properties. And then also auction laws, how to keep yourself safe and maximize your income from selling these units off at auction for your delinquent tenants. And then we set you up with a 90-day plan to tell you just exactly what to do once you leave the academy to get started. $19.97 is the normal price. Selling tonight for $14.97, two tickets, $14.97 for two tickets, and this includes the home study system. Yes, we're including the home study system. So for $14.97, you get the home study system itself. You get two tickets to the academy, and the price on this is going up next year to around, believe it or not, it's going to go to around $3,000 instead of two. So it's going to be right around $3,000, and you're going to get it for $14.97, and then for two tickets and the home study system. Step number three is nothing happens unless you execute, and we know that many of you don't have time to execute. So guess what? You get 30 days free access to and use of my virtual assistant that will show you how to go out. Well, they will show you, you show them how to go find deals in a particular market that you're interested in, and then they'll do the work. They will look for on-market deals in the market that you're looking in. They will send out those mailers to the market that you're interested in working in as far as the target market that you've identified within that market. They will pre-screen these leads and send it back to your email inbox for you so that at the end of the day, when you come home from work or after you put the kids to bed later at night, you go to your email inbox and you've got qualified leads by my virtual assistant waiting for you when you get there. Another bonus is you're going to get access, 30 days access to the self-storage university. This is ongoing mentoring calls that we have each and every month with countless videos that are archived mentoring and coaching sessions. You get an online newsletter, industry discounts, and basically the meat of this is ongoing training to keep you plugged in, to keep you talking about and learning about and doing the business. And so the best way to do that is to continue to keep you immersed in it by getting you enrolled in the self-storage university. Plus, you're going to get access to my buyers list. We have a very extensive buying list. Folks that are interested in purchasing these self-storage facilities. As a matter of fact, we've got over 15,000. We're going to do deal analysis and then more case studies on your end. We're going to go out to the list. So if you get a deal that you're looking for a partner, private equity partner, a debt partner, or both, debt and equity partner, you're going to send it out through Self-Storage University, and we'll do a deal analysis on it, and then you can let them know what exactly you're looking for, and to be if they're able to, once again, wholesale the deal, bring in a partner, equity partner to get the deal done. You get to promote the deals in our newsletter, so if you'd like, you can feature those deals as well. Obviously, they cost a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you don't have to build a buyer's list because we have one. You're going to sell through the community. So if you're looking to sell one of these deals, it'll be those people that are on the calls probably, or sent out via the newsletter or email that you get a deal, and not out on the open market and not working with the brokers. That's a bad thing, and I'll apologize if I've offended any brokers on the call, but there's just some folks that don't want to deal with brokers, plain and simple. So we provide them the opportunity to be able to do so. And all of this is done at no cost to you. That's the value. So folks, at the end of the day, this is the last time you hear me say this year, hitch your wagon to me. Hitch your wagon to our organization and our team, and we will pull you to success, except we'll do it a little bit faster by shortening the learning curve for you. Yes, I think everybody knows that I live in Indianapolis. We do everything faster around here, including the neighborhood kids, radio flyer, wife. So Mr. Kiyosaki, who's a big fan of self-storage, as you can see here when he's breaking down this deal, if you want to get somewhere, it's best to find someone who's already been there. And I couldn't agree more, Mr. Kiyosaki. So, folks, this is the one you want. This is at the price. The last time you'll see this price this year. So the home study system on its own now includes, whether you buy the home study system or the academy, the home study system for $697 also includes 30 days with my VAs, access to my buyers list, and 2 tickets to the academy. And for those of you who want to come to the academy and secure a place right now, it is $1497, going up to approximately $3,000. So half off, essentially $1497, 2 tickets. They don't expire. Go whenever you want, wherever you want to the academy. So to order now, selfstorageinvesting.com/combo easy. In other words, we make self-storage easy by putting together this combo of placing the home study system in your hands and then getting you out to the live event and immersing you in the business. Normally $1297 for the home study, on over $697, and normally $1997 for the academy itself and the home study system. It was down from $1997 to $1497, but going back up. So with that, what I'd like to do at this point, so order now. This is again, this is no points. The last time we're going to see those prices and have the ability to be able to purchase one of those at those prices. Please bear with me. My mouse. So let's do this to get to some questions. We'll take a few questions here. Alright, so I'm going to try to make this work this way. Okay, so for those of you not familiar with the process of how to ask questions, if you look at your control panel on the GoToWebinar control panel over on the right-hand side of your screen, about halfway down is a blue bar. It says questions, and if you don't see the ability to answer the question or ask questions, hit the down arrow key, and it will open that up. Okay. Here we go. Hey, when you are not getting a bank loan, do you still require seller to provide a recent phase 1 and or survey, or get them yourself? Yeah, you can ask them for a recent one, and you need to determine whether anything has been done as any dirty uses, as they call it, in or around that site. Very good question, by the way. In or around that site, and you can determine whether you want to go ahead and keep that. If you're going to use private lenders and bring them in, I think your attorney is almost going to mandate that you have a phase 1 anyways. If they're going to be having their name tied to the closing, then yes, they are going to they're going to ask you to do that as well. For some reason, once in a while, GoToWebinar does some funny things when it comes to ISIS. Must be that dark back. Okay, so now where did it go? Okay. What's the minimum average market occupancy you want to see to buy an existing self-storage? Well, William, that all depends. It really just depends upon the price, and the cap rate at that point. If it's 50% vacant and they're still, and the cap rate is 5%, they're still selling it as if it were 85% occupied or stabilizing. Is what I'm just going to move along. So I can't say that there's a minimum average market occupancy that you want to see to buy an existing self-storage. I certainly like it to be near stabilization, which is around 85%. So if it's between the market itself, we determine it's between 75 to 85%. It's a fairly stable market at that copy version? Yes, this is, Will, for $6.97. That is the physical version of the home study system for $14.97. You get 2 tickets to the Academy and the physical version. What you see right here, this is what you're going to get. Everything right there. That is the physical version. That is what you'll get. Thanks for clarifying, Will. Will, to answer your second question, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. What are the dates in March? The dates in March are 14th through the 16th. 14th through the 16th. Are we doing well, Pat? Haven't heard from you in a while. Wow. Hey, there's all kinds of folks out here we haven't heard from or seen in a while. Brian B. Good to see you. Merry Christmas to you as well, buddy. How does the storage evaluator software cost by itself? It is $97. The evaluator itself is $97. All by its lonesome. Okay, other questions, folks? Other questions do we have? Oh, what kind of EPA issues have you come upon and how have you handled them? Well, let's see. One of the properties was built near the property. It was built near an old round table, a railroad round table. If you model railroaders or just like historical photos have seen these, it's the old turntable where the engines were put on and they go into their other sheds. And if you have kids and follow Thomas the Tank Engine, you know what the round table is. They call it a lot of different names. And so there was creosote, there was oil, there was grease from the round table itself, and it was long gone, which is a shame. I would love to have seen it. And then, so there was some issues with the ground out there. We had a phase 1 done, and then they do some sampling, and there was just enough crud in the sampling to warrant them coming back out. Creosote from the where there was a coating that they used to use on the telephone poles that were turned into railroad ties, or the type of wood that was railroad ties. So how did I handle it? Well, when they came back up for the phase 2, I was out there every step of the way, and there was a team of 2, and I bent the lady's ear just asking her all kinds of information about how they determine what it looks like. And now here, get this, they're doing these core drilling samples. They go down, 4, 5, 6 foot into the ground, and they pull it in a little plastic tube, and they pull it out, and then you can see when there was any discoloration at a certain level from any reason. And I said, so what are you looking for? She says, well, discoloration. She said, like this right here. And she pointed to a stripe in this little clear tube that she said that's probably creosote, could be some oil or something. And she said, those are the things that we really don't like to see. And she left it at that, didn't write it up, didn't put it in the report. Or you can have somebody who is really just not a very nice person that is, how do I put it, William? Well, let's just leave it at that. So those are the issues that those are the only issues. Oh, and we had some asbestos one time, some asbestos wrap in an older facility that they just didn't need to take it down or replace or abate or anything. We just needed to have it covered up with tape, get a piece of insulation that wasn't that wasn't asbestos, that wasn't the bad stuff. Go from there. Good questions, though. John L. Bought my first storage unit 2 months ago and has exceeded my experience so far. As we seek to grow our business into other facilities and raising money, how much do you recommend? Well, first of all, congratulations, John. As we seek to grow our business into other facilities and raising money, how much do you recommend to invest in the diligence before we put out the offering memorandum? Well, good question. Everything that you can get a hold of from the broker at this point and or seller, give access to them, and just let them know up front what they're doing, what you're looking to do. Many times you won't find this from sellers or brokers, and they're still of the mentality that if you build it, they will come. They don't need to advertise. They can just go out and stop into the facility just to take a look and see what's going on. So as much of the information as you can get up front is possible, but I wouldn't start paying for due diligence until you get find purchase agreements at this point. And then just anything that you can get from anywhere else, old appraisals, and if they've got any old reports, anything on the property itself is a good question. Hey, John, good. We'll see you at the March Academy. We're looking forward to it as well. It's going to be great. Hey, Tony, is the market for self-storage equally accepting of single level units versus multi level units. Is there not a preference for ground level drive up units? Yeah, there is. As a matter of fact, the higher up you go, the more inconvenient it is for people to carry stuff, and so we have to charge a lower price. If you get a building that has a good freight elevator, that certainly helps, and/or passenger elevator. That's what we have in this most recent building, the multi-story. And as long as you give them access, we still charge them a little less up there on those second and third floors, but we can still get it done. Yeah, I bought the property. Sorry, William, if I didn't mention that. That's the property. So, yep, we bought it. 188,000 square feet. Office on the third floor. Storage on the second up to here. Part of this is office. This is where my office is. We cut these pine trees down because looking back in this direction is downtown Indianapolis, and the skyline about a mile away. I couldn't see it, so I cut the pine trees down. As you can see, the building is back here to one warehouse, two warehouses. Very, very large structure. Very, very large structure. Oh, the property with oil? This is it. This is it. This is an old AMD grocery depot. And the first time around when we did the phase 1 and the phase 2, it was on the other side of the property. And so, yeah, I just distracted the gal and asked her all kinds of questions. And, yeah, I said, what are you looking for? She said, stuff like this. It's rather funny. Hey, John, although I have been a passive follower of you and have been to a number of your day sessions and read your books, I definitely will be getting more involved. Thanks for the courage to take the lead. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, John, for writing that. Good. I'm glad 2013 is going to be an epic year. It really is. We've got more of these deals that we're looking at. Another deal, as I mentioned at the top of our call, that we're getting ready to put together. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. You bought it, just not fully funded the $750K. Yeah, Brian. Good. Good catch. Thanks for the clarification there. $750,000 is the capital raise. Here's what it took to buy it. All I had to do was pay these fees. So essentially, what I'm still missing is another $35,000 of the $45,000 that we're using for the HVAC, carpet deferred maintenance, roof, and what have you. So we had enough to close the deal. $560 a year. We paid taxes, trustees, attorney fees, our attorney. We took care of these mechanics liens, and I still took home and check at the closing table for $15,000. So here's the approximate acquisition cost. And so we had enough to close it. It's actually a little less than that is what it turned out, but we're still $35,000 shy. We're only at $715 in our capital raise of the rest, which is going to fund this the rest of the deferred maintenance. And we've got some folks identified, and we've got a couple other ways that we're going to look at doing this. But again, if anybody's interested, they're accredited. This deal is still open. If you would like to invest, then contact me at Scott@selfstorageinvesting.com. Scott@selfstorageinvesting.com. Should have mentioned that earlier. My apologies. But also thanks for clarifying that, Brian. Yeah. Thanks, Brian. Happy holidays to you too, Pat. Good to hear from you. Thanks. I'm glad you're doing it. Ted, yes, you can. Absolutely, yes, you can. And you sent an email to Catherine at selfstorageinvesting.com with a K, Catherine, Katherini, at selfstorageinvesting.com. How do you estimate demand for self-storage in an area? And do you use population figures or other method? Yes, we did. We definitely use population figures, Tony. And the way we estimate demand is by looking at the there's reports that you can buy from the Self-Storage Association. They used to put out a demand study as a published book, but now you can buy the reports. And what they'll do is they'll look at the demographics of an area, the median income. They'll look at the types of folks that live in the area. Is there a lot of military? Is it a college town? Are there a lot of businesses that are in storage? And it's based upon these reports are based upon all kinds of data that they've collected by interviewing and talking to the owners in the area. And so they can take a look at the amount of square footage of storage, the number of units that are out there, and then compare that to what the area looks like in terms of demographics. And they generate a demand report that shows you who you should be catering to via the demographics that they see in the market itself. So outside of that, I I look at demand, but then I also look at occupancy, and so we'll travel around to the other facilities within 5 miles and just stop in and people talk to us and tell us what they, what their occupancy is, what they think of the market, and if they're struggling, and if it's a good market, and what I mean by a good market, a market in which these competitors are friendly with each other and they trade, send people back and forth. If you're out of 5x10, send them over to the guy down the road across the way, and hopefully he'll do the same for you someday, and just have a good working relationship. And that's what I found in this industry, which is good, is that I've done an awful lot. So that is, that's a good way to be able to go out and gauge it. And if the folks aren't willing to cooperate and they won't tell you what their occupancy is, which many of them won't, rent the unit. Rent the unit for $30. 1 month free, first month free. Rent the smallest unit they have, and then once you get into the facility, go count locks. Okay, Happy New Year to you too, Brian. Okay, well, that looks like it's about it for tonight, gang. And that's about it for me as well. I turned into a pumpkin about this time of night as well. If you do have any other questions, email me, Scott@selfstorageinvesting.com, Scott@selfstorageinvesting.com. But again, folks, if you don't have the home study system, if you haven't been to the academy, come spend 3 days with us. We'll immerse you in the business and teach you the things that other people won't do, so that you can go out and do things that can't afford to do. And it's working, folks. Now's the time. It actually is working. This is the greatest land grab since the Great Depression. So if you're sitting on the sidelines and waiting for something to happen, stop. It's no longer time to wait. It's time to go out and act. So I look forward to working with many of you on these webinars, and hopefully for those of you that are purchasing the home study system for $697, I will see you on Self Storage University webinars very soon. And for those of you that are coming to the academy, I look forward to meeting you personally, shaking your hand, and welcoming you into the business, because we will get you into the business shortly after that. So with that, once again, proud of you all for coming out, spending time away from family, and hopefully it wasn't too big of a sacrifice from the TV, turning off all those other distractions, and then learning about this industry and what we have to say and what we're doing out there in the marketplace. This is just one deal. This is one example of all kinds of deals that are out there and available that are being transacted in the marketplace right now. So with that, folks, once again, my pleasure to serve you and teach you. It's an honor to spend time with you and answer your questions. And for all the students that we work with at our academies and our mentoring students, you guys are just a joy. You make my life fun. I wish I had more time to dedicate to the education side, but we're focusing on the investment side right now. So only 2 academies next year are scheduled, perhaps 3. And I'm not going out and traveling around the country, so I probably won't be coming to a little RIA meeting near you, because we don't have the time right now to devote to that, to our investing and working at these academies and working on these academies and making these the best possible large academies. And that is our focus right now. So look forward to spending more time again on that and with you in the upcoming year. And with that, I want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And look forward to spending more time with each and every one of you, as many of you as possible, in the upcoming year. Thanks, folks. Everybody have a good night. Bye now.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.